Have you ever wondered why different medications have different effects on your body? It's a puzzling question, isn't it? Well, the answer lies in a fascinating field called pharmacodynamics. This is the science that explores how medicines interact with our bodies and why they produce the effects that they do. You see, not all medications work the same way. Some might block a receptor, while others might stimulate it. Some may work fast and wear off quickly, while others might take a while to kick in but stay active for a longer period. These varying interactions are what create the diverse array of effects we experience when taking different medications. Understanding pharmacodynamics is crucial in the world of medicine. It helps healthcare professionals predict how a drug will behave in the body, and it guides them in choosing the right medication for a specific condition. To understand this, we need to delve into the fascinating world of pharmacodynamics. So, what exactly is pharmacodynamics? Well, let's unravel this scientific term. Pharmacodynamics, derived from the Greek words pharmakon, meaning drug, and dynamis, meaning power, is essentially the study of what a drug does to the body. It's the science that helps us understand how medications work, how they alleviate symptoms, treat conditions, or unfortunately sometimes cause harm. Imagine a key and a lock. When you take a medication, it's like sending a bunch of keys into your body. These keys, or drugs, are looking for specific locks, which we call receptors. The drug's effect depends on the successful interaction between the key and the lock. This interaction is what we study in pharmacodynamics. Now, not all keys fit perfectly in all locks. The body's response to a drug is dependent on the concentration of that drug. If you have a low concentration, fewer locks will be opened, and the body's response will be less pronounced. Increase the concentration, and more locks are opened, leading to a stronger response. But remember, too many open locks can lead to overstimulation, which might cause unwanted side effects. Pharmacodynamics also involves understanding the therapeutic effect of drugs. This is the desired impact that we want a drug to have. For instance, an analgesic drug's therapeutic effect is to alleviate pain, while an antibiotic's therapeutic effect is to kill or inhibit the growth of bacteria. Each drug has a specific purpose, a unique key designed to open a particular lock. So, when we talk about pharmacodynamics, we're talking about a fascinating field of study that delves into how drugs interact with our bodies. It's about understanding the relationship between the concentration of a drug and the body's response to it. It's about studying how drugs and receptors interact, leading to a therapeutic effect. In essence, pharmacodynamics is the science of drug action and the effects they have on the body. It's a crucial piece of the puzzle that helps us understand how and why medicines work, and it's a field that continues to evolve as we discover new drugs and develop a deeper understanding of the human body. Now, let's talk about these receptors. What role do they play? Well, picture this. You've got a key and you've got a lock. The key can't do much without the lock, and the lock is pretty useless without the key. In the world of pharmacodynamics, the drug is our key and the receptor is our lock. This is known as the lock and key theory. The drug, or key, fits into the receptor or lock to unlock its effect. So what happens when the key turns the lock? The drug binds to the receptor, triggering a series of biochemical events. This cascade of events ultimately leads to the drug's therapeutic effect. This could be anything from relieving pain, to lowering blood pressure, to fighting off an infection. Now, not all keys are created equal. In the world of receptors, we have two main types: agonists and antagonists. Agonists are like the master keys. They bind to the receptor and activate it, triggering a response. So, if you've got a drug that's an agonist, it's going to bind to that receptor and kickstart the biochemical process, leading to a therapeutic effect. Antagonists, on the other hand, are a bit like the decoy keys on your keychain. They bind to the receptor, but they don't activate it. Instead, they block it, preventing other substances from binding to the receptor and activating it. This means that an antagonist drug can essentially shut down a biochemical process, which can be just as useful therapeutically. So, whether a drug is an agonist or an antagonist, the interaction between the drug and the receptor is fundamental to the drug's action. It's this interaction that determines whether a drug will have a therapeutic effect, what that effect will be, and how strong it will be. So, the relationship between a drug and its receptor is crucial in determining the drug's effect. How much of a drug should we take to get the desired effect? This question brings us to the concept of the dose-response relationship. It's a fundamental principle in pharmacodynamics, the study of what drugs do to our bodies. Picture this. You're at a party, and there's a DJ. The DJ starts to turn up the volume. The music gets louder, your feet start tapping, and the room starts to groove. This is similar to how the body responds to increasing doses of a drug. As the dose goes up, so does the body's response. But just like at that party, there's a limit to how loud the music can get before it becomes unbearable. In pharmacodynamics, we have something called the therapeutic window. This is the range of drug doses which can treat disease effectively while staying within the safety limits of the body. If the dose is too low, the drug won't have the desired effect. If it's too high, it might cause adverse effects or toxicity. The therapeutic window is different for every drug and every individual. It's influenced by various factors, including the person's age, weight, overall health, and the presence of other diseases. Now let's delve a bit deeper into the dose-response relationship. It's not always a straight line. Instead, it often follows a sigmoidal or S-shaped curve. At low doses, the response increases slowly. Then, as the dose increases, the response picks up speed. But after a certain point, the curve flattens out. No matter how much more drug you take, the response won't increase. This is called the plateau. Understanding this curve is crucial. It helps medical professionals determine the right dose of a drug for a patient. Too little, and the drug won't work. Too much, and it could be harmful. So, when we ask, how much of a drug should we take to get the desired effect? The answer lies in understanding the dose-response relationship. Thus, the dose-response relationship is a key factor in determining the right dosage for a drug. But what happens when things don't go as planned? When delving into the world of pharmacodynamics, we must not overlook the potential for side effects and drug interactions. Side effects are unintended actions or effects of a drug which can range from mild discomfort to serious health complications. They can occur for various reasons. For instance, a drug might affect not only its intended target, but also other parts of the body. Or perhaps the body could have an unexpected response to the drug, leading to side effects. One of the most common examples is the use of antibiotics. While they are effective in combating bacterial infections, they can also harm beneficial bacteria in our digestive system, which can lead to unpleasant side effects like stomach upset or diarrhea. Now, let's talk about drug interactions. This is when the effect of a drug is altered because it is taken with another drug or even certain foods. Drug interactions can intensify or diminish the effects of a drug, or they could produce new side effects. Take grapefruit, for example. This citrus fruit can interfere with enzymes that are responsible for breaking down certain drugs in your body. This can lead to increased levels of the drug in your system, possibly enhancing its effects and side effects. Or consider the interaction between blood thinners and vitamin K. Blood thinners are used to prevent blood clots, but vitamin K can counteract their effect, making them less effective. So if you're on a blood thinner, you'd need to monitor your vitamin K intake. Understanding these interactions is not just about avoiding discomfort or adverse effects. It's about ensuring that the drugs we take are doing their job effectively and safely. Every medication is a balance between benefits and potential risks. But if we understand how drugs work and how they can interact, we're better equipped to tip the scales in favor of safe and effective treatment. Understanding these interactions is crucial for safe and effective drug use. So, how do we apply all this knowledge in real life? Let's dive into the practical applications of pharmacodynamics in medicine. You see, understanding pharmacodynamics isn't just about knowing the theoretical principles. It's about using this knowledge to make informed decisions in healthcare settings. Picture this. A doctor is faced with a patient who has a specific medical condition. The doctor has several drugs at their disposal to treat this condition. But how do they decide which one to use? That's where pharmacodynamics comes in. By understanding the pharmacodynamics of each drug, the doctor can predict how they will interact with the patient's body. They can determine which drug is most likely to bind to the right receptors and trigger the desired therapeutic effect. It's not just about picking the right drug, though. It's also about determining the correct dosage. Pharmacodynamics helps doctors to understand the dose-response relationship, allowing them to prescribe a dose that is effective, but not so high as to cause unwanted side effects. Now, let's take a step back from the clinical setting and consider the bigger picture. Pharmacodynamics isn't just useful in the clinic, it's also invaluable in the lab. Researchers developing new drugs need to understand how they will interact with the body before they can be approved for use. By studying pharmacodynamics, they can predict how a new drug will behave in the body and adjust its design accordingly. This helps to ensure that new drugs are safe and effective. In essence, pharmacodynamics is a bridge between the lab and the clinic. It provides the knowledge needed to develop effective drugs and the tools needed to use them responsibly. It helps us to understand not just how drugs work, but how we can use them to improve health and save lives. Pharmacodynamics, therefore, plays an integral role in healthcare and drug development. Let's take a moment to recap what we've learned today. We started our journey with a puzzling question that led us into the fascinating world of pharmacodynamics. We learned that it's not just about popping pills, but understanding the science that makes them work. We dived into the basics of pharmacodynamics, the study of how drugs affect the body. We unraveled how it's not simply a matter of taking a drug and expecting an immediate effect. It's a complex process involving the body's response to the drug, its absorption, distribution, metabolism, and excretion. We then explored the pivotal role of receptors in pharmacodynamics. These microscopic structures on our cells act as gatekeepers, deciding what gets in and what stays out. We learned that drugs work by interacting with these receptors, either by activating them or blocking them, thereby influencing the body's natural functions. Next, we discussed the dose-response relationship, a critical concept in pharmacodynamics. It's the idea that the effect of a drug is directly related to its dose. We learned that a higher dose doesn't always mean a better response, and that the right dose is key to achieving the desired therapeutic effect. We also touched upon side effects and drug interactions, the lesser-known aspects of pharmacodynamics. We stressed the importance of understanding these aspects to predict and manage potential risks and complications associated with drug therapy. Finally, we brought pharmacodynamics to life, discussing its practical applications in medicine. We learned how it helps in designing effective drug therapies, monitoring drug safety, and optimizing patient care. So, pharmacodynamics isn't just a subject you study in medical school. It's a powerful tool that shapes the way we practice medicine and care for our patients. It's the science that helps us understand not just what a drug does to the body, but what the body does to the drug. So the next time you take a pill, remember the science that goes into making it work. That's pharmacodynamics for you.